In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Pictures group in the Shapes tab of the Timesavers add-in. The Pictures group allows you to insert pictures, replace pictures, change the cropping on pictures, and more. I'm going to start off by showing you how to insert pictures. This button over here allows you to insert pictures. All you need to do is click on the button and a window will pop up for you to go and select the pictures that you wish to insert. So I'm going to go and choose these ones over here, and then click insert, and they'll be placed on the slide that I'm busy with, and then I can go and move them around and place them where I want them to be. Next, I want to show you these buttons over here. These buttons allow you to change the cropping of your selected picture. So if you've got a picture selected and you have stretched it or anything like that, then you can use these buttons to change the cropping. So if you choose this one over here, it's going to crop to fit. So it's going to end up looking something like this. So it will fit the best possible inside the shape that you've got over there. If you choose crop to fill, it will be centered and it will fill the space completely, but it won't be distorted. And then if you choose no crop, then it will be stretched. So it's not going to be cropped, it will be stretched to fill that space completely. Okay, so that's what those buttons are for if you have got a picture selected. You'll notice that it also has a toggle function. If you have no picture selected, then these buttons act as a toggle, in which case you will be changing the setting for when you are going to be doing the placeholder things over here. So I'm still going to show that to you later. But if you have a picture selected and you click on these buttons, they'll just act as regular buttons and change the cropping of the picture that you have selected. Okay, let's just undo that quickly. Then the next thing I want to show you is the replace pictures function. This tool allows you to replace multiple pictures at one time, either with one picture or with a variety of pictures that you're able to choose. You'll see that there is a drop down with different options. The first option is change the order manually. The second option is repeat the sequence. Third option, attempt to replicate cropping. And the fourth option, attempt to replicate animations. Just be aware, if you're going to have this one selected, that it doesn't necessarily work with all versions of PowerPoint. Older versions of PowerPoint might not support this function. Also, only basic animations will be preserved. Timing and trigger animations unfortunately aren't able to be preserved, and I can't guarantee that animations will be preserved properly. So this one is limited in the way that it works. I'm still going to show you these other ones over here. Okay, but first of all, if I just go and click on here, and first of all, I'm going to select my pictures. When you select your pictures, the order in which you select them is the order in which they're going to be replaced. So just so you're aware, when you select the pictures, if you just drag like this, it's going to select them based on their Z order. So from the back to the front of the slide. Now, in this particular case, these pictures, their Z order is like this, so that the blue one is furthest to the back, the red one is furthest to the front. Okay, so that's because that's how I inserted them. Okay, so these pictures are in that order. So when I drag and select like this, it's going to be selected with this one first, then second, third, fourth, and fifth, because that's how their Z order is. But if I wanted it to be in a different order, I could select them manually by clicking on them and selecting them in the order that I want to select them. Okay, but at the moment, I'm just going to drag and select like that. Okay, then once you've selected your pictures that you want to replace, you go and click on this button and it will bring up a window for you to go and choose the picture or pictures that you want to replace with. So if I select this picture over here, now it's going to bring up a message asking if I want to continue and proceed with my current selection, because I only chose one picture, which is less than the number of pictures I had originally selected. If you look over here, I have selected 5 pictures that I'm going to replace, but I only chose one picture in the folder. So now it wants to know if I want to go back and choose more pictures or not. If I choose no, then it's going to give me a chance to go and choose more pictures. If I choose yes, then it's going to replace with a picture that I chose, because I'm choosing to continue or proceed with my current selections. I'm going to choose yes, and you'll see that all of them are going to be replaced with that one picture. Okay, let's go and see what happens if I had chosen no. So over here, I'm going to go back to shapes. I'm going to go over here and click on this again, and I'm going to choose this one again. But now, if I choose no, I'm choosing that I don't want to proceed with what I've already selected. I want to go and choose more pictures. This means I can go and find pictures in another folder, or I can choose another picture here if I want to. So if I go and choose this one over here, then it's going to bring up another message the same, because I still haven't chosen as many pictures as I have selected over here. I've still only chosen 2 pictures. But once again, if I choose yes, it's going to then proceed with what I've chosen. If I choose no, it will give me another opportunity to go and choose another picture. So if I choose yes over here, it's going to then use the pictures that I've chosen. Now you'll see that it's been inserted in a repeating pattern like this, where it's going white, yellow, white, yellow, white. And the reason it's doing that is because I have got this option selected, repeat sequence. If I didn't have this option selected, so let me just undo that quickly. If I didn't have that option selected over here, then what will happen if I have these all selected and I go and I choose to insert the pictures, I'm going to just select both of them at one time this time, and then I'm going to choose yes. And now you'll see only these first 2 get replaced, and the reason is because I didn't choose to have it repeat the sequence. So if you don't have this option selected, then only the number of pictures that you choose in the folder will actually be replaced out of what you have selected to try and replace. Okay, so that's what that option is for. Okay, then I'm going to go and select these again. Then over here, I'm going to go and select that again. And the next option I'm going to show you is this change order manually. So this option allows you to have a little bit more control over the order in which your pictures get replaced. So like I said, you can select the pictures in the order that you want them to be replaced, but it's a little bit more difficult to select the pictures in the folder in the order in which you want them to be replaced. There are 2 ways of doing it. You can either just select all of them. So if I have these pictures selected over here and I go over here and I choose just to go over here and I click on, I want to replace these 5 pictures with these 5 pictures, and I go and press insert, then they will be replaced with those pictures in the order that they were in that folder. Okay, now I can't change that. So if I undo that and I go over here and I do the same thing again, but if I try and select them in a different order, it's not going to make any difference. It's still going to replace them in that same order, because it bases it on the order that they are in the folder. If you want to replace them in a specific order from what they are in the folder, then what you can do is you can either go over here and you can click on this and choose the first one you want, and then you can, so if I can go and click over here and then I choose yes, I want to choose another one, then I go and do my next one, and then I can go and say no, I am not done, I want to choose another one. I go and click on the next one, I want to choose another one, and I do that, and I do the same thing again, and I do that, and then they will be put in the order that I chose them from the folder by doing it all separately like that. But that can take a while. So there is another option for you. What you can do is, if you have those selected, you can go and instead of doing them one at a time like that, you can choose this option over here, and you can click over here, and then you can just go and select all the pictures that you're going to be replacing with, and then you'll have it be put into a table like this. You can see that they are numbered over here, and you've got these pictures that you had selected numbered as well. So now you can see this is going to be put in place of that. Here's number 2, that's going to be put in place of that, and so on. So now what we can do is you can go and rearrange these and put them in whatever order you want them to be. It doesn't matter if they are not perfectly centered in their blocks, so long as they are somewhere in their blocks, they will be used in the order that you put them over here. So once I've put them in the order that I want them to be, so if I want this one to replace this picture, and I want this one to replace this picture, then I put them in the order that I want them to be, and then I can go and click on this button again. And once I do that, they will be replaced in that order that I chose in that table over there. Okay, so that's what that change order manually option is for. Then the last thing I want to show you with this, let me just undo all of that quickly, is this option over here. So I'm just going to go and undo that. Then over here, this attempt to replicate cropping. What this is for is if you have got a picture that is stretched or a picture that is cropped or anything like that. So if I have this cropped over here like that, and if I have this one cropped like this, anything like that. So however you have your picture stretched or cropped, and if you have this option selected over here, so if I go over here, shapes, and I have this option selected, then what it's going to do is when I click on this and I go and insert my picture, if I choose, say, this one again, I'm going to proceed with my current selection, then when I replace the pictures, these all get replaced and the cropping is replicated as far as possible. Please be aware that this will only work properly if the original picture and the one that you're replacing it with have the same basic dimensions as each other. If the new pictures have different dimensions, it might not look quite how you are expecting it to or wanting it to, but the add-in will do its best to try and replicate the cropping as far as possible. Okay, so that's what that option is for. Let me just undo all of that. Okay, then the next thing I want to show you is these buttons over here. Before I can explain what these buttons do, you need to know that anytime you insert pictures using the Time Savers add-in, using any of these buttons, this one or this one or this one or this one, the pictures that you insert will have their file path saved with the picture. So these buttons over here use that file path that is saved. This one over here allows you to update the picture. Now this may be not really useful if you're working with clip art or something, but if you're working with things like product covers, which you maybe are going to update over time, and then you want to update your pages, like you may also like pages or things like that in your terms of use and so on, then this button can be useful for you to be able to just quickly update those pictures using the new version of those pictures. Please note that this will only work if the new version of the picture has the exact same file path as the old version of the picture. Okay, so let me show you an example. So over here, if I go to my folder that has these pictures in it, and say for instance, I have changed this file to flower blue 1 instead of just flower blue, then over here, if I go and click on here and I try and press the update button, it will bring up a message saying that none of the pictures you selected were able to be updated because there are no images in their original locations. And that's because the file path over here doesn't have the 1 on. And if I go and look in the folder over here, then this 1 means that it's not the same as the file that I have saved, or the file path that I have saved over here. But if I were to put a new picture in place of this one, so if I were to say take this one over here and change this so it has the same file path as the original one over there did. So if I change that to blue, so basically I'm replacing the flower blue with this one over here. Then what happens if I take this over here and I go and click on this, it's going to change that to the yellow flower, because now this yellow flower has the same file path that the original blue one did. So what's happening now is if you have a new image in the same location and with the same name as the original image, then you can update the one that you have in PowerPoint with the new one that you've got in the folder. So that's useful if you're wanting to update picture product covers and things like that, or anything like that in your products. Okay, then this one over here, so let me just undo that quickly. Then this one over here, this button allows me to add the names using the file paths that have been saved for the pictures. Please remember, again, this will only work if you have inserted pictures using the Time Savers add-in, and it's only from version 7.0 or later, because otherwise the pictures won't have their file paths saved. Okay, so it'll only work for pictures that have been inserted using the Time Savers add-in. So if you just inserted it normally with PowerPoint, it won't work. But if you click on here, you'll see that there's a drop down. You can go and choose from different options. So if I click on this one over here, it's going to take the names that, if you look over here, I've got flower blue, flower orange, flower pink, flower purple, flower red. Those are the same names that I had for these files over here. So if I just go and undo what I did there, so the blue flower was called flower blue, then I had the orange one as flower orange. So the names that I had saved as part of the file path have now been inserted here as names for these files. So the one option is to put it in as a vertical list like this. Another option, and it'll do it for any pictures that you've selected. So another option is to do a horizontal list like this, which is separated by commas. So then it'll look something like that. Another option is to insert them in a table. Then it'll look something like that. It will always be a 5-column table. The next option is to do it in a single column table. So it'll look something like this. And then the last one is to do it as captions, where they get inserted as captions and grouped with the different pictures. So over here you'll see this is a text box that's been added underneath the picture and grouped together with the picture as a caption. So that just allows you to use the file names of your pictures to quickly insert or to add names for the pictures. And then you can go in and edit the names if they aren't quite how you would want them to be, and so on. Okay, so that's what that button is for. Okay, so then let me just quickly undo that and remove those names. Now the next tool that I want to show you is this one for replacing tagged pictures. This tool allows you to replace pictures throughout your presentation at the same time that have the same tag as each other. Now, just like when you insert pictures and the file path is saved, when you insert pictures using the Timesavers add-in, they are automatically tagged. They are tagged with their file path, just like the file path is saved, but the tag is separate. Okay, so you can edit the tag if you want to, whereas you can't edit the file path. So when you insert pictures, they're automatically tagged with their file path. So these pictures over here, if I go and use this button, I can check the tags. If I have no picture selected, then when I click on this one, it's going to check the tags of all the pictures throughout the presentation. So if I click over here, you can see that all of the pictures that have tags are highlighted and their tags are shown to you over here. So this is the file path for each of these pictures. Now I can also go and change tags if I want to. So if I want to change the tag of this one, I can go and click on this button over here and I can tag all selected shapes or pictures. Now please note, you can also tag shapes if you want to. You are not limited to only tagging pictures. Obviously shapes won't automatically be tagged because they're not inserted in the same way as pictures are, but you can add tags to shapes if you want to. Okay, so you can go and click on here and it will bring up the initial or the existing tag. If you have more than one picture, it will bring up the existing tag of the first picture that you have selected. So just be aware of that. Okay, so if you click on this button, it will show you the existing tag and you can then go and change it to anything that you want to. So if I want to change this to tag demo, for instance, then if I go and click on this button again, you'll see that this is now changed to tag demo. It doesn't have the file path as the tag anymore. But remember, like I said, the file path that has been saved is separate from the tag. So it still has its file path saved, but the tag has been changed for when you are wanting to replace tagged pictures. Okay, so over here, now I have got this tag over there. So now, like I said, you can replace pictures throughout the presentation that have the same tag as each other. So if I go over here and I just duplicate this a few times, and I'm just going to move pictures around a bit, I'm going to duplicate and move them so that they're not all in the same place, because tagged pictures don't have to all be in the same place to be replaced, so long as they have the same tag as each other. And then this one also, I can go and do that, and so on. Okay, so now when I go back to this one over here, what you can also do when you are checking the tag, so if I go and click on here with nothing selected, then all of the pictures throughout the whole presentation will be highlighted and their tags will be shown. If you want to just see what pictures have the same tag as a particular picture, then you can select the tag that you're wanting to check and then go and click on this button over here, and it will only show you the pictures that have the same tag as that. So these are the pictures that will be replaced if I replace this picture using this function over here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and click on this one. I'm selecting that. That is the picture that I want to replace, and I can select more than one picture at a time if I want to, just like I can for replacing pictures. Okay, but now when I select a picture that I want to replace, you'll see I've got the same options as I have for over here. So everything is going to work the same as when you are replacing a picture here, except that when you replace a tagged picture, if I go and choose my picture over here, and I'm going to go and choose my white one like this, then if I go and look through here, now all of those blue flowers have been changed to white because they all had the same tag as the blue flower on the first slide did, the one that I had selected. So all pictures that are tagged in the same way will be replaced with the same picture. So that's what this button does over here. Now, just so that you're aware, if you have inserted pictures using a slightly older version of the Time Savers add-in, I have recently changed the way that the tagging works when the pictures are initially inserted. Previously, the pictures were tagged with a random number. I've now changed it so that they are automatically tagged with their file path, so that if you were to insert a second picture from the same location, it will automatically have the same tag as any other picture that is inserted from that same location. And then when you replace it, they will all be replaced. You don't have to go and make sure that they all have the same tag as each other. But what you can do is, if you have a tag that is no longer or never was the file path, so if you have a picture that was inserted before the version of the Time Savers add-in that now allows it to be tagged with the file path, or if you have changed the tag to something else, then you can use this button over here. And this allows you to reset the picture tags, and then the picture tags will be changed back to the file path if there is a file path saved. Okay, so if I take this over here and I go and click on this one, so first of all you can see the tag is tag demo. Okay, now if I go and click on this, it's going to change it back to the file path. If I go and check over here again, now you can see that it's changed back to the file path. So you can reset the tags and change them back to the file path if you want to. If you want to change or reset the tags throughout the entire presentation without having to go and do them manually, then you click on this button with nothing selected. So you click over here, it'll bring up a message saying that you do not have any shape selected, and asking if you wish to reset all the picture tags in the presentation, changing them to the picture file paths if there is a file path saved. If you click yes, then all of the picture tags will be saved, or that will be changed to their picture file paths. So if I go and click on here, if I go and check my tags over here, now you'll see that this is the file path, but all of the blue ones have been changed back to the file path now as well. Okay, where they hadn't been previously, because previously I had only changed this one. So you can change all of them to the file paths with one click if you do want to. Then you're also able to remove tags if you want to as well. So if you don't want the tag to be on here for some reason, you can go and remove that tag, and then you'll see over here it now says that the shape doesn't have a picture tag. However, if you have removed a tag and then you want to put it back again, you can just go and click on this one and it will put the file path back as the tag again. Or you can insert a different tag using this button and typing it in. Okay, so that's how the tagging works. And then once your pictures are tagged, you can then go and replace pictures throughout your presentation so long as they have the same tags. And like I said, all of these options are the same as what you have over here. They work the same. You also have the option of changing the order manually. You also have the option of using a repeat sequence and so on. Okay, and then remember that I said you also are not limited to only tagging pictures. So you can also insert shapes. So if I want to put a shape in over here and I want to tag that shape, so if I go over here and I click on this button, I can add a tag. So say I call this tag 1. Then if I put shapes in other places as well, so I can just copy this one and paste it in other places in my presentation, like that. Then if I select one of these, because they all have the same tag, you can go and check again. I can go and click on here. If I have that selected, it will only show me the tags that match that one. So if I go click there, you can see that's tag 1, and all of those shapes have got the same tag. I can also tag another shape separately without copying and pasting like I did. So I can also insert a new shape or add that tag to an existing picture or something. So I can go and click on here, and then I can go to shapes, and I can add a tag, and I can call this one tag 1 as well. And then when I go and check the tags, you'll see that these both have the same tag. So you don't have to you won't only have the same tag if you copy and paste. You can also get the same tag by adding that same tag to another shape as well. And then once you have got all the shapes that you want to replace with a picture, you can go and click over here and insert your picture like this, and then all of those shapes that you had put in with that same tag will be replaced with that picture. So like I said, you're not limited to only replacing tagged pictures. You can also tag shapes and then replace those as well. And also with this over here, the replace pictures is also not only limited to replacing pictures, you can also replace shapes as well. Okay, so that's how the replace tagged pictures tool works. Okay, then the last tool that I want to show you is this Replace Placeholders tool. In order to replace placeholders, you first need to insert picture placeholders. Let me just quickly get rid of all of this and all of that, and then just duplicate this so that I have more slides. Now, to insert picture placeholders, you can click on this button over here and it will insert a picture placeholder. It's just a basic square in the middle of the slide. You can move it, you can resize it to whatever shape or size you need it, you can change the rotation and so on. So you can do whatever you want with that. There are also other options. So there's a landscape letter one that you can put in, and once again you can resize and change the rotation and the position and so on. Or you can put in a portrait letter one like that, or you can put in an A4 landscape one, or there is an A4 portrait. There's also widescreen and boom card. So let me just put both of these on here like that. Okay. So once you've got all of your placeholders inserted, then what you're going to go and do is over here, if you look, you've got a couple of options over here. You have the option of changing the order manually, just like you had for replacing pictures and replacing tagged pictures. That's going to work the same. And you also have the option for repeating the sequence, the same as you had for those ones as well. Okay. You don't have the other two options because the placeholders won't have any cropping and they won't have any animations. But you do have these two options over here. If you go and click on this button over here, it will bring up the window for you to go and select the pictures that you want to insert. Now, if I go and select all of these pictures over here, the whole folder, the pictures are going to be inserted into the placeholders from the beginning of the presentation through to the end of the presentation in the positions of those placeholders. Now, when you insert them, in this case, I had the setting as crop to fit. Now, remember I said that these buttons over here, they are dual function. They act as a button if I've got a shape selected, or if I've got a picture selected rather. Then if I go and click on here, it will change it to crop to full. If I click on here, it'll be no crop. If I click on here, it'll be crop to fit. Okay, but if I don't have anything selected, then what happens is when I click on these buttons, it changes the setting for when I replace the placeholders. So when I replaced the placeholders this time around, the setting was crop to fit. So all of these were inserted as crop to fit. So you'll see that they are all fitting in the placeholder that I had, and you'll see there's a little bit of extra space above and below for this one. Here there's a little bit of extra space above and below, but this one there's a little bit of extra space on the sides, and that's because the picture is being fitted into the shape that the placeholder was initially. Okay, so it's using the crop to fit setting. So if I go and undo all of that quickly, and now if I go and change the setting to crop to fill, and because I had nothing selected, you'll see that this now stays selected over here. And then when I go and click on this one and I insert my pictures, they will all be inserted, but they're all inserted with a setting crop to fill, like that. Okay, if I undo that, and if I go and change the setting to no crop, then when I go and insert over here, all of those pictures, they'll be inserted with no crop, which means that they are stretched to fit those spaces like that. So these buttons over here allow you to change the setting for when you insert pictures into the placeholders like this. Okay, so you can choose whatever setting you prefer and keep it on that, or you can change it whenever you need to. Okay, then also you do have the option of choosing fewer pictures to insert. If you have the repeat sequence option selected, then when you do this over here, it will, if I only choose those two, all of them will be replaced in that pattern like that. Blue, then orange, then blue, then orange, then blue, then over here. This one was further back on the slide, so it goes before that one. So the orange is, that one is orange and this one is blue. If I don't have that option selected, so if I go over here and I choose not to repeat the sequence and I only choose two pictures, then only the first two will be replaced and the rest of them will not be replaced. Okay, and then you can also change the order manually if you want to, just like you can for the others. It will bring up the table, which you can then go and rearrange them and so on. Then I also want to show you that you can take an existing preview or product or something and turn it into a template by putting in placeholders in place of existing pictures that you have. So for instance, if you have a preview like this one I've got over here, and I already have all my pages positioned how I want them, I can turn this into a template by inserting placeholders in place of those pictures. Now, remember, if you just click on this button over here, it will insert a placeholder just in the middle of the slide. However, if you have something selected, so if I've got, say, this picture selected and I click on that button, it will replace that picture with a placeholder, and it will keep the formatting of that picture as well. So it still has its shadow, its outline, and so on. So if I go over here, I can also go and change these to placeholders as well. Over here, I can go and change these to placeholders, and so on. So all of these I can go and change to placeholders, and then when I want to go and create a preview for a new product, I can use this as a template, and I can just go and change my heading and so on, and I can go and click on here, replace placeholders, and I can just insert the pictures that are relevant for the new product. So you're now able to create a preview in a few seconds using the template that you're able to create using an old preview by just replacing all the pictures with placeholders. Okay, and that is how you use the pictures group in the Shapes tab of the Timesavers add-in. I hope that has been helpful, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you. Goodbye.